and the lesson of self-worth. In a small village nestled among lush green mountains, there lived a boy named Ethan. He was hardworking and always gave his best in everything he did. However, Ethan had a bad habit. He constantly compared himself to others. When he saw his friend Lucas, the top student in class, Ethan thought, "I wish I were as smart as him." When he looked at Oliver, a wealthy boy in the village, he sighed, "I wish I had a life like his." Even when he saw someone running fast, he wished, "If only I could run that fast." These thoughts slowly made Ethan unhappy. He lost motivation to study, and he no longer enjoyed working on his family's farm. No matter how hard he tried, he felt he was never smart enough, rich enough, or fast enough. The encounter with the carpenter. One day, while wandering along the village road, Ethan saw an elderly man carving wood. It was Mr. Walter, a skilled carpenter known for his craftsmanship. Seeing Ethan looking sad, he smiled and asked, "Is something bothering you, young man?" Ethan sighed and shared his struggles. After listening, Mr. Walter simply nodded and stood up. He handed Ethan a small knife and a block of wood, then said, "Tomorrow bring me a sculpture that you carve yourself. I will help you find your answer." Ethan was surprised, but agreed. The lesson from the wooden blocks. That night, Ethan worked tirelessly, trying to carve the perfect sculpture, but the harder he tried, the more frustrated he became. The cuts were uneven, the shape was rough, and compared to Mr. Walter's masterpieces, his work seemed worthless. The next morning, he brought the unfinished sculpture to Mr. Walter, feeling ashamed and disappointed. Mr. Walter examined it for a moment before smiling gently. "Ethan, do you see this piece of wood?" He pointed to a large, thick wooden plank leaning against the wall. "It is strong and tough. It may not be good for carving, but it can become a sturdy door." Then he picked up another piece, smaller and smoother. "And this one is not suitable for making a door, but it's perfect for carving beautiful sculptures." Ethan frowned. "But what does this have to do with me?" Mr. Walter chuckled. "Every piece of wood has a unique purpose and strength. If the soft wood tries to become a door, it will fail. If the hardwood tries to be carved into a statue, it won't work. And people are the same. Each of us has our own strengths and talents." Ethan was speechless. He thought about how he had always compared himself to others and suddenly realized that, just like the wooden blocks, he also had a unique value that he had yet to discover. Recognizing his own worth. After his conversation with Mr. Walter, Ethan decided to focus on improving himself instead of comparing himself to others. Instead of wishing to be as smart as Lucas, he realized he was creative and hardworking. Instead of envying Oliver's wealth, he learned to appreciate what he had and work towards building his own success. Over time, Ethan became a talented carpenter. His works were admired by the entire village. He no longer compared himself to anyone. He simply focused on being the best version of himself. One day, a young boy from the village came to Ethan and asked, "Ethan, how did you become so skilled? What's your secret?" Ethan smiled and said, "If a block of wood tries to be something it is not, it will only be cut down until it becomes useless. But if it is used in the right way, it can become a masterpiece. People are the same. Find your own strengths and shine in your own way." The boy nodded in understanding, while Ethan smiled, remembering his own journey of growth. Lesson learned. Ethan's story teaches us that everyone has unique strengths. No two people are the same. Comparing yourself to others only robs you of happiness. Focus on self-improvement rather than trying to be someone else. True success comes from understanding and embracing your own abilities. In the end, don't try to be a copy of someone else. Be the best version of yourself.